Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Creators ToolBox. I'm Jean Aaron, and it's Thursday, April the 20th, 2023. 420. If that number means anything. If you've got an angel numbers book, you may want to check out the numerology for 420. I'm not sure what it means, but this week was Earth Week. I don't know. I think maybe it was Tuesday was Earth. We celebrated Earth Day. So happy Earth Day. I can, hopefully, I think it was volunteer week, and I think that was probably because of Earth Week. And so, but hopefully, you got some volunteering in. But anyway, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Jean Aaron, the conscious creator, like yourself, and it's time for our Thursday's session of the Conscious Creators Toolbox. We meet every Thursday at 7 o'clock to identify and explore, take a look at our creative tools and our creative abilities, take those tools out of our tool shed and see what they're all about and dust them off, polish them up, examine them, get to know them. Sometimes, we forget that they're in the toolbox. Just in case you wonder what some of your creativity skills and abilities and powers are. Let me see if I can rattle off a few for you. You have the power, the superpower of thought. What you think. What you think, you can create, you can bring into existence. You speak out your creation like your creator did. God spoke and it was and it happened and it is and it goes on. It still goes on. And so can you. You can use your words to speak and manifest and create your reality and your life and your destinies. You'll make your dreams come true. Okay, your thoughts, your words, your decisions, your intentions. When you make a decision, when you come to a decision about something that you want to happen in your life, and you put some oomph behind it, your determination a little bit, you're committed to that. You're gonna sit down and you're gonna focus on it, and you're gonna see it till it manifests, okay, in your mind's eye. Your imagination. Yeah, your imagination is one of your tools. I know we tend to think that imagination is kid stuff, but it's creator stuff, okay? You use your imagination to imagine, get a clear picture, get a visual, if you would, of that creation or that manifestation of that thing that you want to happen in your life, that new life, how you're going to look in that bikini after you've lost those 20 pounds or so. You can get it. You can always, see yourself on the beach and see yourself sitting under one of those expensive umbrellas, which I found out they were kind of expensive. Well, anyway, that's one of your power tools, your desires. Just having a desire for something, that kind of gets it stirred up and gets it started, get those creative juices going, that passion is one of your creative tools as well. Yeah. Your passion stirs things up and get the emotions involved in it and your feelings in it. And because, feelings, feelings and emotions, those are creative power tools as well. In fact, not going to make nothing happen unless you feel it. You got to feel it. You got to know, you just, the feeling is kind of my guru, Neville Goddard, said that feelings is the secret sauce. I call it the glue. I call it the stuff that makes it happen. Feelings is, it's kind of, it's movement. You feel some stuff going on and feel some juices happening. So it's like the glue. I call it the glue that pulls it all together and make it, that's the secret. That's the secret, he calls it. So those are just a few of your creative tools and your creative abilities. You have many more. We take a look at those on Thursday for about an hour. Every Thursday we come in and pull them out of the toolbox. I invite you out to your tool sheds and I say, pull out that creative tool of imagination, and let's take a stab at it and look at it and see what we can do about making it, upgrading it or updating it or polishing it up, getting some of that rust off, getting the cobwebs out of it and putting it to use so that you can manifest and you can create your realities and make your dreams come true, make things happen in your life. Anyway, that's what Creators ToolBox is. That's what we do on Thursday night. And one of the other things that I enjoy doing, I just have a must. I gotta do. It's just a gotta do. Is to remind you who, what, and whose you are. You know, when we came into the world, we came in here and we were just nice and clean and pure little creative little midgets, little babies, little midget creators, and then the world got hold of us and they did something called, we call it, I mean, the Jung crew, we call it conditioning. They conditioned us, and they kind of put a little dull on the, I don't know, took some of the shine out of our creativity, with all this conditioning. But it was necessary. I'm not gonna do too many jabs at them, right now. But they did that, and what happened was we forgot. We kind of got lax, daisical about our creativity, and we said, oh, the things are going pretty good here. We can just kick back and just coast. We got to coast along. But lo and behold, we're manifestors. We came here to manifest a life for ourselves and to, have fun and discover ourselves and discover this awesome creation called planet Earth and the universe and this world that we live in. So we came here to, we didn't come here to kick back and la la la. We came here to, make some stuff happen, make some jingle jangle. So, but we were conditioned. Cool some of our jets a little bit. So what I'm doing and what Conscious Creators Toolbox like to do is we like to nudge you a little bit and remind you that you are indeed a creator, like your creator, like your source, like whomever you consider to be your creator, your source, you created your stuff, your maker, your father. I call my creator father, but whoever that source is and creator God is, that's who you are created in the image of, and you're made out of the same stuff of creation, and you can do and you can have and you can be and you are all that creator is and have and can be and does. Okay, you can do all of that. You can speak because you got those words, and you can make things, create things, and bring things into your existence and into your experiences by speaking like your creator. And all the things that creator can do and your source can do and your father can do, you can do them as well. And I like to remind you of that. And you're only restricted. You're an unlimited created being who's created as such, and you created to live on and on and on. That beingness, that I amness in you will live on and on and on after you shed this meat suit that you're living in, called our skin, called the body, called this body, this human body. Once we shed that, we just go on and I don't know, jump into another suit of some sort and keep just right on going and right on manifesting like our father and like our creator and like our source. We're only limited and restricted by what we believe. And we know, and we know about our father and our source and our creator. So I tell you, my father, my source, my creator, my God, universe, divine, father, daddy, can do all things. There is absolutely nothing that my source, my father, my God, my creator can not do. In fact, the impossible things. If you can come up with some impossible feats or impossible things or stuff, then you know what? My father and my source, my creator, my God, my divine daddy can do that. Daddy can do all things. There's nothing, absolutely nothing restricted or withhold from the power of the God. He's omnipotent. He's omnipotent, all powerful, all knowing, all. He is the all one. And we are forever and ever and ever connected to that source, that power pack, that creator, that creation. And we have the same energy and the same stuff flowing in and out of our being. And we are just like our daddy, just like our father. And that's one of my, I have to do it. I have to tell you about every week, is to remind you of that. And I want to hope you believe it. And Conscious Creators Toolbox kind of gives you a nudge and remind you and show you some of those creative abilities and creative powers that you may have been, just lax about, or misleading, or misled about, or have some misunderstandings or lack of understanding about. So we want to bring in more clarity and more understanding of those power tools and those things that you use to create and manifest your life and your reality. That's what we do on Thursday. So welcome to our YouTube channel. If you have not, click the the subscribe button. If you find it there, I'm going to invite you to subscribe to our page. Leave a comment if you would. Leave a comment um, when you stop in. I'd like to do that, and share. Share our tube. Share our link, our YouTube link, with your social network as well. Right. One announcement I want to make, and I'm hopefully you some of you are aware of it, and if not, hello. We are hosting. Uh, we call it a magic miracles and manifestation workshop. It's a six session Zoom online manifestation workshop that we are hosting, and we are a team of us, a handful of us, probably a few of us, are manifesting a 5 days retreat in one of the beautiful paradise islands of Hawaii in October, where that's what we're coming to do, to manifest. And we are, inviting you, if you're interested in, honing your manifestation skills. It's an opportunity to look at the steps for manifestation that you manifest anyway. You manifest anyway, but we want you to be deliberate and on purpose manifestors, masters of your manifestation skills and powers. So we put together this workshop, the succession workshop. We're going to start with the intention, and we're going to go right through focus, and we're going to visualization. We're going to talk about feelings. We're going to talk about emotions. We're going to talk about, what happens behind the curtain, those things that you can't see that's happening, and you're wondering what's taking so long and what are they doing behind it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're going to go right up to our manifestation itself. And we're going to be standing on the one of the beautiful beaches in Hawaii, one of those beautiful sandy beaches in Hawaii. They've got all colors. They got black sand beach, they got green sand beach, they got a white sand beach, they got a sandy sand beach. I don't know. They got all color beaches over there. So we don't know which one we're gonna actually land on or manifest or bring into our weeks. We're gonna make that decision. Part of what we're gonna be doing is deciding exactly how we're gonna fill those 5 days of retreat when we're in Hawaii. So if you are interested in fine tuning and toning up and perfecting your manifestation skills, I want to invite you to be a part of that event. It's the first session is session 1, and it is showing you or talking about how you set your intention and what to do once you set the intention and what to expect once you set your intention. I want to invite you to grab that link. We're going to post it in this. We'll post it in the comments here, then in the comment section here. But after we finish tonight, we'll make sure that we get that to you. But if you are a member of Team Conscious Creators, you're welcome to go to our Facebook page and find that information on there. I believe that we are posting it on our Instagram presence over there. I think we're posting it over there as well. So if you have not already registered for that workshop, there's plenty of room for you. And again, you don't have to be manifesting. You don't have to want to, you don't have to want to go to Hawaii. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go, that beautiful place, but you don't have, that wouldn't be, if that's not on your list of manifestations right at this time, whatever is on your list of manifestation, the same steps that we're going to take to manifest our beautiful 5-day retreat. You can use those same steps to manifest that job that you want, that vacation trip that you want, having a debt-free life, bringing some healing into your body, into your well-being, whatever it is that you would like to manifest. The same steps are the same. You go through the same process. You manifest the same way, no matter what it is that you manifest. So if you're interested in learning about those and finding out how to fine tune them and being part of a team of folk to manifest, sometimes people tell you, when you want to create something, don't tell everybody. Don't. You know what? Come to the workshop unless you could tell us, and we could tell you, and we can share with you, and we'll keep you secret if it wanted to be a secret. But in the meantime, we'll pump some energy in that, and we'll pump some, we'll share it with you. So if you're interested, let me invite you to plan to be there. It's open and available for whomever. I think we've got plenty of room in the sessions. I think we can accommodate, I don't know, 50 or 60 people. I don't know. So anyway, got plenty of room. So if you are interested, please plan to register for that. So the first session is April the 30th. This is Sunday night, and it's going to be five consecutive, not consecutive, 5 Sundays, 5 sessions. Following that, it's going to be one each month. The very last, I think it's the last Sunday in every month up into September. So we'll have one in April. We'll follow up in May, and we'll have a session, and we'll have another session, another step of the process of manifestation in June, July, August, and September will probably be the last one, and then we'll be flying off to Hawaii. Some of us will be, and I don't know what you're going to be doing, but we're gonna celebrate your manifestation in October. That's going to be the last one. We're going to actually have a session in Hawaii. Maybe we'll have it on the beach. All right. Anyway. Oh, now one other thing I would like to ask: if you are an astrologer or astrologist, and you have a love for astrology, have a lot of know about it, a lot of knowledge and understanding of astrology that you'd like to share with us, we'd like to invite you to be a part of our sessions, and for sure to be a part of manifesting going to Hawaii, because we would like to have an astrologer on our manifestation team, that as we're traveling through space and time to October. All right. So if you're an astrologer, I'd like to ask you to give me a shout out, call me up, and just let me know if you're interested in being a part of this project, our project. Anyway, and you can reach me. I'm Jean Aaron on Facebook. You can leave a message on Team Conscious Creators Conscious Creators Facebook page. My email, I'll leave that in the comment section as well. You can email our office at on our email at our email address website. And I think that's it. I think that's all these are my announcements. All right. For the next, I'm going to try to get this done in about 20 minutes. And I'm going to say it's going to take 20 minutes. And it probably will. Because what we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about our journey into self-discovery and our ego. And you're thinking, is ego a creative tool? Yes, it is. And tonight, I'm not going to talk so much about why it is, but I'll get to that. This is actually a series that we're gonna actually be talking about over the next, probably 3 or 4 sessions, maybe probably through the end of May. We'll be talking about ego, and how it fits into our creativity and creativities, and how it affects us as humans, as people, as creators, as conscious ones, and being aware and awakened. We're going to talk a little bit about that. But tonight, I want to kind of just kind of prepare you. And so this is actually, for me, it's a work in progress, because I have discovered I discovered that ego of course, has this crazy rap. Has a bad rap. It's egotistical. I think that's I cringe every time I hear the word egotistical. But hopefully, over the next few sessions, we're gonna kind of dispel some of those harsh feelings that we have about ego, and come up with a revised attitude toward ego. All right, because we all have them. We all have an ego. We all have an ego. And and we need ego. It's a part of us. It's we have it. We're going to talk about how we came about having it too. Okay, we're going to talk about why we had it. So tonight, I want to start with asking you a couple of questions about ego. Just kind of, and you don't have to answer them. You can just kind of think about them. And they're questions for your thought. Your thinking, your thoughts. One of the questions I want to ask is, let's see how I want to put this. Do you have a relationship with your ego? And if you don't have a relationship with your ego, why not? Right? Have you figured out just what part of you is ego, and what part of you is the other part of you. And do you know what the other part of you is? I don't know. Have you thought about that? Have you taken time to even, maybe communicate with your, figure out how to communicate with your ego, or see what it's all about? Do you even recognize why you have an ego? All right. Do you think about ego at any part of your day, during the day? Do you think about ego? Here's another one. Here's another question I want to ask you. Okay. When you're thinking to yourself and you're talking to yourself in your mind, who's talking and who's listening? Because we all do it. We're all thinking in these thoughts and thinking and talking to ourselves and, chastising ourselves and criticizing ourselves and apologizing to ourselves and loving on ourselves and, you know, moaning and groaning to ourselves. Who's talking and who's listening? Right? Right. We got to think about that. We got to think about that. And hopefully by the end of the series, you're going to have a whole different attitude, even about your self talk, even about your train of thought, your thinking process. Hopefully at the end of the session, you're going to have a whole different upgraded attitude about ego and the other parts of you. All right. And there's a song by Bobby Womack. He says, "There's so many sides of you, many, many sides of you." And there's more sides of you than you know. We are a multidimensional being. All right. We've got that physical thing going, that human side. We've got that spiritual side going. We got a side called emotional, and we got we got all kinds of sides. Okay. So there's many, many sides of you. All right. But who listens and who is doing the talking? Right? All right. Listen, there's no doubt, you have to be careful here. I'm going to pull this aside. Okay. There is no doubt to me as a creator, a conscious creator, that our journey into discovering who we are, ourselves, for me anyway, it's probably the most important and the most adventurous journey that we'll ever undertake, that we'll ever take part in. Our life journey, our time spent here, that lifespan here, when we become aware of who we are and what we are and what we have presented before us, it begins, that journey starts. And it's a journey, and really, and no matter how you take it, no matter how you take it, even if you don't even nudge on your ego and all those many sides of yourself, you start just exploring the universe, exploring the world that you live in, exploring your community, exploring those relationships, those things that all of that is really discovering who you are by chance, if you're not looking, but you're doing that. But that journey into self-discovery is the most important journey or adventure or trip or ride that you will take in your lifetime. In your lifetime, right? And even if you lived 100 years, 200 years, or 900 years, like the biblical Methuselah lived. He lived 900 and some odd years, 960 years, I don't know, over 900 years. Even if you live that many years, you'll never, ever, ever reach the destination, which is the center, the core, the who you are, the real total person, being that you are. You won't ever reach that because it's just you're just not gonna happen. You're just gonna go on for eternity. And you're gonna go from one adventure to the next adventure, another different lifetime. That being inside of you is just gonna go. You're gonna eliminate this suit. So as long you may live 100 years in this meat suit, or this 3D or third dimension or physical body, but after that, your being goes on and on and on. That that's the journey. That being is going to journey on and on. You'll get the opportunity as a human being to experience existence and experience awareness, experience consciousness, experience life for as long as from birth to death. The journey between birth and death, that's the adventure that you're on. That's the journey that you're on. And it's a very important journey. Right? It's the main course. It's the main course of your life. And it's the most important. It's the most important part. And again, we're meant to enjoy it. We're meant to experience every possible thing we can experience and enjoy it. So tonight, again, we're going to be talking about that journey, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to focus on the company that we keep on the journey. All right. Now, I posted something this morning as I was, pulling the message together this week. I was thinking about ego, and then I looked at, you know what? When we start out on this journey called life, and trying to discover and find out who we are, and find out all the mysteries of the universe and all the mysteries of ourselves and all the mysteries, we go into that adventure. We don't go along. We don't. It's not a journey that we go alone. We meet people on the way. We meet people. Our path kind of go parallel with somebody along the way. We can jump on the same path and share path. Our paths merge, and we travel with others on this journey. We crisscross, journeys. We come in and out of each other's lives sometimes. We collide with each other, have collisions, and falling outs or whatever. And we go our separate ways. But we're not. We it's not a journey that we take alone unless we choose to. But normally we do not. I'm going to hold on just a second on it. Well, that might be okay. That's not the journey that we're taught. The journey of life, we do it in and with someone, with a partner, with an other. All right. And I thought about that, and I said, the very first person or personality or person or the first other that we meet on our journey, the very first is most likely our ego. All right. Because once we realize that we're talking to ourselves, but we're also hearing it, we have to realize that there's got to be some kind of something going on there. Got to be a speaker and a listener, right? Speaker and a hearer. Okay. Got it. It's usually that's what it is. And that's where ego comes in. And ego comes in pretty early after we're born. All right. If our ego kicks in around the time that baby is introduced to its reflection in the mirror. It discovers that it has fingers like its mom and its dad and its sisters and its brothers. And it realizes that it's not connected to the reflection that it sees in the mirror or the mom that it breastfeeds with or if it nurses with. Knows that it realizes that it's separate. It realizes that it's different. It's autonomous, if you would. Starts realizing that early. Now, I think it was, I'm not sure who was it that said this. It was, let's see. This man pointed out that, what's the quote? He said, oh, here it goes. He said, ego is a way of organizing oneself. It comes from the intellect as the mind starts to click in. And a baby's mind starts to click in fairly early. It starts thinking, it starts becoming aware early. it becomes aware that it's hungry. Becomes aware that it's, something's happening, and it's, it's eliminating, and it's cold, or it's can't see. It becomes starts beginning to become aware, and in that awareness, it's birthed ego. Ego comes along in that awareness, and ego exists. This is something that you want to think about it. You exist, therefore I exist. If there is a you, baby, if there's a baby you, then if I can say you baby, I'm mommy, then if you exist, if I can say you, then it's gotta, I exist. So once we realize that, once baby realizes that, I'm baby, she keeps saying I'm baby, and come to mommy, and then she reaches and I'm mommy, then she says, you baby, I'm mommy. So you exist, baby exists, because I exist, and I exist because you exist, right? So ego is born out of separation, or identifying autonomous, identifying, becoming aware that you are you and I am I or me. Yeah, that's what it's born to, that little person. And unfortunately, in its birth, it's it's born out of fear. And it's also born out of isolation, because once you s- separate yourself and become autonomous, being alone is sometimes can be frightening, especially when you're a brand new baby and you're new on the block, and you know what's going on, and you don't even know how I got here, and I know this, I got these sensations, and I got to have help with them, and I don't know how to do, I don't even know what this place is. All right. So I'm afraid, I'm fearful, and I'm isolated. Okay? But I don't want to act like it. I don't want nobody to know I'm, all that needy and that fearful, because, then that'll put them at they'll have a jump on me. I don't want them to have a jump on me. That's how ego starts. That's exactly ego's rationale. And I know babies don't really kind of go that far in rationale, but babies are fearful. They don't have a lot of fears, but when they cry, they want to be satisfied. They want attention. And if they don't get it, they continue to cry, and they get louder and louder, persistent. And that usually brings somebody to their beck and call. But believe me, I mean, I was a baby. I don't know what I think about it. If I think about it, if I look at it in a way like, what is that baby thinking when it cries and cries and cries and nobody shows up, or it's worried that it's not going to show up, or because I'm not going to stop crying, and I'm just going to cry. I'm going to cry. That's a fear. It's a fear that they're isolated. It's a fear that they're going to be isolated. But mom shows up. That worked. I don't want her to get the jump on me, so I'm going to make sure that I can perfect this crying thing, so that when I cry, she's going to come. Right? That puts me in the driver's seat. Right? I'm the baby. I'm the driver's seat. Right? So ego is born out of that rationale, if you would. Right? Fear and isolation. Once the mind kicks in, right? Once the mind starts kicking in, and sensations and things start happening, and physiology things start happening, right? It was a psychologist, or no, it was a psychoanalyst, and I'm not sure. I think it was French. He developed a concept called the mirror stage, and that's why the baby actually um, began to distinguish itself from others. You give it a mirror, it encounters the images, its own image in a mirror, and then it recognizes and began to realize uh, that it's separate and it's autonomous. And that's when, that concern starts popping in and ego starts being, hey, hey, I'm me and you're you. This is me and that's you. And I want whatever I want. And I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get it from you. But I'm fearful that I may not do it. But I don't want you to know that I'm too afraid of it. So I'm going to act like I'm confident. And I'm going to act like I got this under control. All right. And you don't understand, they got an edge on you. That's the ego. Ego. The birth of ego is the process of identifying the self in terms of opposing ourselves to others. That's what the baby's doing. And not sophisticatedly, just instinctively, Before we recognize our own existence, we begin to see others, mom, dad, the doctor, those people that are caring for us. We begin to see them as these giants, these over, these powerful, strong images and beings and stuff going on and around and about us. And we want to feel as strong or even stronger than their appeal, than their peer. So what happens is that gets into egos or that that I's mentality or that train of thought. So they start working that angle, and it kind of snowballs, and it just begins to just kind of feed passion and aggression and anger cries, and I'm gonna cry until I'm gonna turn blue, whatever. I'm just gonna keep crying, and you're gonna come get, I'm gonna do this. But it's also out of ignorance, because really there's a better way to do it. But you know we haven't developed we haven't developed enough to be able to use the mind in a different way. So that's kind of how it goes. And it's a simplistic example of what I'm pulling out here. But I would, and this is a research in progress. So hopefully I'll, be able to expound a little bit more on that mirror effect and what's happening with that infant, that baby ego, and when it's getting started in this infantile stage. But it does. It's an infant. It's a baby train of thought. They don't have a lot to work with. But out of that, whatever they have to work with is what is born. Right. So it comes in to the world like that, with the kind of an attitude, you know, I want, you look like you're bad, but I got, I'm going to play my angle and I'm going to act bad, going to turn blue, whatever I need to do. Got to keep on crying, kicking, hold my breath, whatever, until you come and give to me what I want, satisfy my needs. All right. That's the baby one. Our ego is very self-absorbing, self-serving, self-conscious, self-minding, but it's also it's also kind of blinds us and also makes others blind, because it's a baby, and a loving and a caring parents and caregivers, they want to satisfy the baby and run to the baby's to give the baby what it needs, and the baby begin to understand that they do a certain way, act a certain way, cry a certain way, and they get the response that they want. So but that is all psychological. It's also very psychological, and it's very powerful psychology. Psychology is working on here, that we don't they say they understand a lot of it, but they don't understand totally. The mind is a very tricky little contraption. We want to impose as egos and as babies and as new kids on board. We want to impose our possibilities over others. All right, because we see them as these big giants, and we got to compete some kind of way. All right. That's the first thing we want to compete. So right away. But no, not just compete. We want to overcome. We want to be more powerful, as strong or more powerful. Whatever we see, we want others to see the same. That baby don't know, a baby, but even as we grow, as we go older, if we are not careful with our egos and we don't have the right steering and the right training and the right upbringing and the right, uh, I, I bite my tongue to say conditioning, then we will tend to find ourselves being selfish and self-serving and self-centered, and we want you, the other people, to see, feel, know, and be exactly like we are. We expect that. That's our perception. That's how we're developing our perception. That's what we want, and we get aggravated, frustrated, downright belligerent sometimes when we find out that you don't see and you don't act and you don't feel and you don't know and you're not like it. You don't get it. You want to be contrary. We don't that ego don't like that. But all the time, all of this is created. It's a makeup. It's just a creation. It's a illusion. Something that we've created. We've created. And this illusion of self, mm, it goes beyond having an unrealistic vision because we believe our vision of the world. We believe our vision of the world is the world. All right. They can't tell us any different. This is how I perceive the world. This is my perception of the world. This is my world. You don't, and this is the world, and it's the world, and everybody sees the world like I see the world. It's just ego. That's the ego's thought. And the illusion of self goes beyond the unrealistic vision because of course it's unrealistic because it's a vision born of a brand new ego, brand new mind. It just a new kid on the block. And this is how it's starting. So of course it's unrealistic. It's unrealistic. We want to, but we want to stick to that illusion. We want to stick to that perception and not just, through the baby years. We want to develop it and grow it and maintain it and nurture it and push it out to everybody else and get aggravated when they don't see the world like we want it to be the world. We don't want you change rocking the boat and changing it up. This is my vision. This is my version. This is my illusion. This is how I see it. And you need to see it like I do. That's ego. You need to see it like I do. And the problem with that is, first of all, even if we all saw the world the same way, it changes all the time. It's not a world that's going to be permanent. It's not the vision, the illusion, or the creation that we see, or the world that we see, the vision that we see, the reality that we see. It's evolving. It's changing. It's not. It's not a permanent. But the illusion that we create of ourselves and the world the perception that the way that we see the world that we've created, we want it to stay the same. We don't want it to be different. We want it to be the same. We want it to be exactly like it is forevermore. And it's totally impossible that it can be because the world changes. The world and life itself is not fluid. It's not rigid. It's fluid. It evolves. So ego wants it to stay the same. That part of you, that I part of you, it wants it to stay the same. And it fights tooth and nail to death to make sure that it stays the same. It sabotages the rest of your life. The rest of your life is running around sabotaging just to keep it the same, just to keep that perception and that vision that it's created of self and of the world and the perception of the world that it lives in. It fights to keep it the same. That's where the problem comes in with ego. And it's immovable. Sometimes it's immovable. It digs its heels in and it stays there until such time that you realize what's going on, what happened. You look back on it, you do a little research, you study a little bit, you talk to your doctors, you talk to your parents, your teachers, people can help you understand. But no, baby, that's just not how it is. But let me show you how it is. And it's not going to be an easy sell to ego, because ego's the seller. Ego don't buy hardly nothing. Okay. Ego's the seller. Okay. So you're going to have to you're going to have to be patient enough with ego to redirect ego to be less of a seller and more of a person that wants to just enjoy the journey with you. All right. Because it's not a buy and sell situation anyway. It's not journey's not about buying and selling. The journey is about learning and start discovering and creating and being happy and having fun and performing and acting and just making happy, making love, making happy. That's what the life is about. It's not about buying and selling and who's the boss and who's the baddest and who's not, who's the strongest and who's it's not. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. So it's up to you, the captain of your destiny, the captain of your ship, the manager, the manifester, the creator. It's up to you to work with that your traveling mate who's going to be with you until the end, right up to the end of time, to the end of your life journey, that life journey. It's up to you to befriend that ego and have upgrade it, reassess it, and have it begin to just chill, just be comfortable. Because basically, ego is its main job is to just keep you alive, keep you safe, keep you alive, and to do that, that's it. That's the only way it knows. It doesn't know another way. So if you want to kind of be happy, have some fun on the trip, and on the journey that you're taking, and really try some adventurous things out, then you're going to have to have a real serious relationship with ego. All right. We associate, and like I said before, we associate ego with being entitled or arrogant, overly opinionated, self-absorbed, self-important. And we're also told that we're better off without ego. We're not better off without ego. Ego is here for a reason. Ego has a purpose. In fact, everything created, ego was created as well. You created it. You created ego, but unknowingly, because that's how we do a lot of our creations and manifestations, unknowingly and unconsciously, just subconsciously. We just, because we're co-creators. That's how we roll around here. Okay. So it's up to us to help our creation, our created, just like our Father, caters to us and prepares and provide for us. We have to do those things for our creations too. And again, you created you created ego, all right? That opinionated little whatever you want to call it, And if you call it enemy, we're going to change your mind on that, because it's not your enemy. And ego is not your enemy. It's not. Ego is opinionated. Ego is arrogant. Ego has a sense of entitlement, self-absorbed, self-important. Ego is all of that, and then some more. Ego is. But you are not better off without ego. In fact, you wouldn't stand a snowball chance without ego. All right. So you need ego. But so ego is not the issue, like a lot of people feel like it is. It's not the issue. Basically, it's the illusion that we've created through ego. That is the issue. That's a real problem. All right. So we created this part of us for a reason. And it's a good reason. And we're going to talk about that in one of our sessions. We're going to talk about the reason that ego is even here. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but I think you probably have some understanding of that already. But we're going to talk a little bit more about it. So ego is not the problem. It's not. American author, and I can't pronounce his name, but I read this. I read this about him. He said this, but he teaches that a healthy, functioning ego is a crucial tool on the path of awakening, where we are creative beings, awakening, becoming aware. We are aware, awakening, conscious, journeying, manifesting, creating our way on this beautiful journey that we call life, and discovery. And he teaches that a healthy functioning ego is a crucial tool in the path of our creativity. And I have no doubt of that, none whatsoever. That's why I spend a lot of time, just toning, just loving on my ego, and teaching the ego how to love on me, how I want to be loved, how I need to be loved as a human being, as a spiritual being, health-wise, wealth-wise. I want ego to be. Ego is necessary for me in every facet of my life. But I want ego to be healthy. I don't want ego to be that egotistical being that they call him. I don't want ego to be my enemy. I don't want ego to be the villain, because it's not a villain. Ego's my ego. And we're going to talk about all the great things that a healthy ego will do for you. But I want to share this because I was in my research. I love digging up, information about my subject matter. And lo and behold, I found a quote that I just had to share with you by none other than our former president, Donald Trump, who has the most interesting, I said interesting, the most interesting ego of anybody that I've ever read about, heard about, experienced any kind of whatever with in my whole life, in my whole journey here. He's got a serious ego. All right. Now, I don't know about how healthy it is or whatever, like the Buddhist author was talking about here, but he does have an ego. All right. This is what he says. Let me quote. I'm going to read his quote. Quote, "Show me someone without an ego, and I'll show you a loser. Having a healthy ego or high opinion of yourself is a real positive in life." End quote, says former President Donald Trump. Now, this is one thing, I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to backdoor here. This is one thing that this man has said that I am not going to argue with. And I'm going to say, darn, he's pretty sharp. All right. I'm just saying. All right. Absolutely true. An unhealthy ego is an egotistical mess. But a healthy ego will help me experience the life that I desire, that I dream about, that I wish for, that I want. It would help me have the adventures that I want to have in my life, and help me stay alive in doing it, overcoming some of the obstacles that will present themselves or come into my way. That's what ego will help me do. A healthy ego will. Now, an unhealthy ego may have some crazy effects going on, and it's an egotistical mess, yeah. But I want an ego that is not a loser, like Donald Trump would say. I want a healthy ego that's not a loser, right? Ego, scientifically speaking, and we're going to probably talk a little bit more about science and physiology, the physiology of ego, as well as the psychology of ego. We're going to talk about how egos communicates with with us, on a physical level, how the gut feelings, the how it can tell when it needs to protect us or help us or whatever, the things that it do. We're going to talk a little bit more about the things that ego helps us with in future talks. But again, tonight I just wanted to just kind of introduce you to ego and have you take another look at, if you have not developed that knowledge of it, and you have an awareness. I'm pretty sure that you have an awareness of it by now. If you're listening to me, you have an awareness of this ego. But I want you to not only have an awareness, I want you to have a knowledge about it. I want you to not only be aware, but acknowledge ego. If you have a friend, or if you have someone that you have an interest in, you spend some time to get to know them. Don't assume that you know all there is to know about ego, because that would be a mistake, and that would be like egotistical, right? Take some time to think about your relationship with ego over the next week, a few days. Do some research on your own if you want, but find out a little bit more, something that you didn't really realize about ego. Find out something that you didn't really know about ego before now, right? So spend some time in that. One of the things that I learned a lot of things over the past week and I've spent a lot of time, getting to know developing my relationship with my ego. But I learned some things, this past week or so in preparing for the discussion, and I want to share some of those things with you. Now, I won't have time tonight because I'm running out of time, but next week I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a healthy ego and an unhealthy ego. I want to kind of focus on that. And I want to also just again remind you that you're on this wonderful life journey of self-discovery. And you will always and forever have ego as a travel mate. Always. It's not going to go anywhere. Going to always be a travel mate. Do you want to take full advantage of all the benefits of ego? Then hopefully you'll join me next week or the next couple of sessions and learn a little bit more, hopefully maybe even a lot more about ego than you knew before. All right? I'm going to leave you with this. Ego has a reason for being, just like the rest of creation has a reason for being. Ego has a purpose for being. It has a purpose of service. Its purpose is to serve and it desires that. It wants to do that just as bad as you want to do what you do. Ego wants to perform its service, provide its service, and it wants to fulfill its service, and it wants to do it to the best of its ability. And just like you, we have limited ability sometimes. We have dysfunctional ability sometimes, or disability sometimes. So does ego. But we get help for ours, so we're going to get help for egos if ego needs it. Okay? Ego is not the problem. Ego is not your enemy. Ego is not the issue. Our illusion of self, that is the problem. And this session, these sessions, the series that we're going to be doing on ego will help us overcome some of these problems, or overcome the misconceptions and the misinformation, or the lack of information that we have. We'll get to know the difference between you, self, and me, and you, self, and I. All right? There is a difference between you and I. There's a difference between me and you. So we're going to talk about that over the next one. Understand that there is someone always listening when you are always talking. Who might that be? Thanks for joining me tonight. Next week, we're gonna continue on talking about our traveling mate ego. And we're going to talk about the differences between a healthy traveling mate ego and an unhealthy traveling mate ego. So until next week, remember, manifest best. I appreciate you joining me. And until then, know that God loves you and so do I. So good night. And remember, manifest best always. Take care. Good night.